Hello and welcome to Review the Light. This is a video overview of the new Skilhunt DS10. If you'd like to see the full review, you can check out the link in the description below that I'll put down here. So the Skilhunt DS10, new DS series of lights for Skilhunt. The DS10 is the smallest in the series. There's a few others, and they all share the same kind of style and user interface, just different battery options and brightness levels and such. But the general idea of them is all the same. One of the nifty features of the DS10 series is the magnet in the tail cap. So if you want, I will actually, whether or not you want, I will just go ahead and make a quick clip of it sticking to something magnetic later on. I don't have anything magnetic to demonstrate down here, but I'll show you that sticking to the side of a fridge or something later. And also, the DS series has this low voltage indicator light here. So when the voltage on the light gets low, that'll start blinking red every 2 seconds. If you take a look, you can see the emitter down in there. We've got a smooth reflector, and it's about standard depth, standard width for a light this size. It's a CR123 size or 16340 sized battery. So lights this size is a standard reflector, maybe a little smaller than average, but pretty close to average. It's going to be a little bit of a mix between throw and flood, and you can see they've got the smooth reflector there, so that'll maximize the throwing ability of this little light. But obviously it's not going to be a super thrower with its small size of the head, a little bit more on the floody side. You can see also a stainless steel bezel, which is always a nice touch, protect it from any drops or such, help it from getting knocked up. We've got the heat dissipation rings right here, which is good to see. This light doesn't get extremely hot, but it's always nice to have those just to prolong the lifetime of your emitter. I mentioned the low battery indicator there already. It's got a flat section here so that it kind of minimizes the rolling. It'll still roll a little bit, but it'll stop when it gets to the switch that's on the side. So rolling isn't a huge issue, although it's not completely stable. You can see the electronic side switch here. It sticks out from the side, rubber cap over the switch. We've got the Skilhunt logo on that side, and the model number over on this side. We've got some really light knurling here, but the knurling itself doesn't actually provide that much grip. Most of the grip comes from the gaps in between the knurling sections there, and just the general kind of squared off shape of the light near the switch. The tail is pretty simple. And I mentioned the magnet on the inside already. So we'll take it apart and see how it looks on the inside. Oops, it slipped out of my hands there. And it comes apart in 2 places, which isn't extremely common for a light this size, although I think that's probably due to the magnetic tail cap and just the desire to kind of standardize between parts of the series. So you can see the spring in here makes a connection with the positive terminal on the battery. The battery tube itself has anodization on all of the threads, so that'll help prolong the life of the threads. And they also come very well greased, which is always nice to see. The standard, fairly thin battery tube, definitely plenty strong enough to hold up to standard use, but the thinness of it will minimize the size of the light overall. And then also you can see the O-rings there to keep the water out. And here's a look inside the tail. You can see the spring to make connection with the negative battery terminal, and beneath that you can kind of see right beneath the spring is the magnet. So that magnet is user replaceable. I've heard stories of magnets losing their polarity when they're dropped or heated up. That's never actually happened to me, but I know it is possible. So if that does happen, I don't know what the likelihood of that is, but you can get a replacement magnet. It doesn't come with a light, at least it didn't come with my sample, so I believe you'd have to order one if you needed one. Okay, so we'll look at the user interface of the DS10. So, the side switch here, when it's off, I guess before I get into that, I mentioned the magnet. The accessories it did come with are some spare O-rings here, a clip, which you can clip right onto the side, right there. and a lanyard. And the lanyard itself can attach here at the tail. They've got my favorite lanyard attachment design, which allows you to get the lanyard in there without actually compromising your ability to tail stand the light, which is actually probably pretty important for this light due to its magnet in the tail cap. So those are the accessories that it comes with. Now, the user interface. A single click turns the light on, and from there another single click rotates through the modes. So it's got low, medium, high, and turbo, and you just cycle through those with a single click, and holding down for about a second turns the light off. So when the light is off, if you want to go, well, I guess it remembers the mode you used last. So say I leave it in high mode and turn it off. When I turn it back on, it comes back on in high mode. But say you want to go straight to the low mode so that you don't ruin your night vision or something like that. From when it's off, you hold down on the switch for about half a second, and it comes on automatically in the low mode. So you can go straight to low mode from off. Also, if you want to go straight to your maximum brightness, you can get to turbo mode from off by doing a double click. And there I just went straight to the turbo mode, and then you can just cycle through like normal. So there's that. And while it's on, a double click takes you to the strobe mode. And from strobe mode, you can turn it off by holding down. And the strobe isn't remembered, so it comes back on whatever you used last. And also from the strobe mode, a single click will take you back to your regular cycle. So that is the user interface of the Skilhunt DS10, and I believe it's the same interface for all of the DS series. They all share the same manual and got the same instructions for all of them. So this has been the overview of the Skilhunt DS10. Stick around for a second and we will take it outside. Another feature of the DS10 I neglected to mention earlier, I received a headband for the review of the HO2 headlamp that Skilhunt is coming out with. And the manual for the DS10 has a picture of it inserted into this headband, and I tried it out and I found it does work. So if you desire, if you have the headband, then you can insert the one of the DS10s in here also. All this. Right about like that, or you can adjust it obviously the other way also, or I'll probably actually put it on the other side of the switch so that it's a little more secure in there. And then you can just wear it on the side of your head, pointing forward, and also use this light like a headlamp if you desire. So this is kind of one of those side headlamps. So if that's something you're interested in, that is a possibility with the DS10 if you have the headband already. Alright, so we're going to demonstrate the magnetic capabilities of the new Skilhunt DS10, that magnet that I mentioned in the tail cap. Here we are, we just have a pipe, an area where it might be useful to have some extra light down here in my basement. So we've got the DS10 here, and there it is sitting on top of this metal pipe that I have, and see, putting some light up there, I'll make it a little brighter. But yeah, just, you know, if I was working up there, I'd have some extra light. Also just to demonstrate the ability of its magnetism, here it is, sticking to the bottom of the pipe. So very strong magnet. It helps that the DS10 is so small. Probably one of the advantages of it over its brothers in the series. The small size of it means it can stick pretty much anywhere, even without a lot of magnetization. Here it is sticking straight out, which is you know, obviously the most difficult position for it to be in, but it doesn't have any trouble now. Since on a round surface, a little unstable. Here, it can take, you know, a few bumps. Obviously, if you hit it too hard, it's going to fall off. But that's just a very nifty feature to have. You can just stick that on anything ferrous and have that extra light. So this is the DS10 doing its thing. Hello and welcome back to Review the Light. We have the Skilhunt DS10 here in the backyard, so we're going to give it the run through and see how it does in the dark. I'll fire it up. Looks like we are in low mode right now, so there's that. We go to medium, high, and turbo, clicking through. Cycle through one more time. There you go. And kind of hard to tell the difference on the turbo. My camera adjusts to the brightness change automatically, regrettably, but it is noticeably brighter than the high. You can see it's got a pretty good flood over the range of the backyard. A very definite hot spot, but a smooth transition out to that. Fairly even spill, and then you can see a definite edge to the beam there. So it is a small reflector. Gives you the wide beam, lots of spill, fairly floody, but it is a smooth reflector. So it's got some definition to the hot spot and to the edge there, as you can see. So here's some of the ground close up, you can tell, and we'll go over here, take a look at a couple nearby trees, and there's back there the one behind the garage. You can faintly make out, depending on the resolution of your monitor, possibly. Here in real life, I can see it well enough to see if there's anything in the tree or not. So that's what I care about. And obviously, that's on the turbo, so that's where you've got the best shot of it. Low mode, close up, is enough light to walk around by, certainly, and to see things fairly far away. I can make out my gate over there. That's about as far as I can get good vision on. We'll just run through the cycle one more time. It's the low, medium, high, and the turbo. And then, of course, the double click takes you to the strobe mode, if I can do it fast enough. There it is. It took me a couple tries. It takes a fairly fast double click. And there's the strobe. You can see it in action. Single click takes you back. And then while it's off, of course I can hold down on the button for a second to go straight to low. Or while it's off, I can double click and go straight to turbo. So this has been the outdoor section of the video review. If you want to see the full review, be sure to click on the link in the description below. Thanks.